Good morning, and I hope you all had a wonderful Easter. We had an interesting Easter, as many of you on Facebook had read about. Our beloved, precious fur baby, Savvy, had a little bit of a problem. She had some blood in her urine and was diagnosed once again with her fourth urinary tract infection, a UTI, in the 7 years she's been on this earth. Here's the interesting thing. She had just been treated for a UTI in October by our vet down at the Bay in Delaware. She was given antibiotics and everything seemed to clear up. The problem was they never actually did something called a urine culture. And what we were told yesterday by a very fine doctor, Dr. Seitz, at the pet emergency place where we were blessed to take her, on Sunday. I keep forgetting, this show's going to air on Tuesday, which is actually tomorrow. It's Easter Monday. But I wanted to do this show today so I have all my ducks in a row and my facts straight, because this just happened yesterday. But you'll see it on Tuesday. So forgive me if I say yesterday. Anyway, what Dr. Seitz suggested to us was that we do a 7-day run of an antibiotic that was different from what she took in October. But this is what's important. She said it doesn't appear that the infection from October completely cleared up. And because nobody bothered to run another urine sample after she was off the antibiotics, because there was no more blood in her urine that we could see, there's a good chance that she never really passed the infection. And that's unfortunate. And believe it or not, this also happens in humans. My own beloved husband had a staph infection several years ago. He had cut himself and it became infected. And what happened was he went to urgent care because it was bad. He was getting a fever. He was not feeling well. And they did culture the cut. Okay, they cultured it, but they prescribed him an antibiotic anyway. And he took it for 10 days. And the infection did not go away. In fact, it got worse. And he called them back and they said, "Oh, we did get your culture sample back. Guess what? That was the wrong antibiotic for the strain of staph that you have." Well, wouldn't that have been nice to know? Wouldn't it have been nice to know? And believe me, I brought this up to the doctor at urgent care. I actually said to him, "How could you prescribe my husband a medication without knowing what you were treating him for?" Interesting, right? So what Dr. Seitz told us yesterday was important information. Now, I'm going to get into the blessing that is pets. Look, vets do not have hours 24/7. It's not like a hospital. It's not even your doctor, who might have someone on call if you're a patient and you have an emergency. Although most doctors will tell you to go to the emergency room as well. It's not that easy when you're a fur parent. A fur parent, that's what I call myself. I'm a fur mommy, and I'm a good one. Because while some people, first of all, wouldn't even notice that there was blood in their dog's urine, and I might not have either if I hadn't already been out in the yard taking care of the other presents that she leaves me in the yard, which of course is her what we call poo-poo. I was on poo-poo duty, and I noticed when she urinated that there was blood in it. You could see it. And of course I knew from experience this meant it wasn't life-threatening, but there was a UTI, and the sooner she got on antibiotics, the better. Now, of course, this was a Saturday. I tried calling my vet. They were closed. It was a holiday weekend. They only have Saturday hours in the mornings anyway. And my husband was in Maryland, and I was in Lancaster with the dog. And so I called the vet clinic in Delaware that had treated her just 4.5 months ago for a UTI to see if perhaps they could prescribe an antibiotic so that my husband could run in. It's 15 minutes away, pick it up, bring it home to me Saturday night. We could get her started on antibiotics right away, because it's important to get treatment right away to start fighting the infection before it gets worse. That's why it became an emergency, to get her started on antibiotics. She wasn't going to die. But she could have gotten worse. She could have been more uncomfortable, and I didn't want that. Anyway, to make a long story short, the vet clinic in Middletown said they would not do anything unless they would see the dog. And I said, well, that's not going to happen because I have no car. My husband's in Maryland. I'm in Lancaster with the dog. Dog's not there. Dog ain't going to get there. We're not going to just start walking and get to Middletown, Delaware anytime today. But we are blessed in Lancaster to have this pet emergency facility. And we're even more blessed that it's like 5 blocks from my house. It's very close. And so we did take her there. Now, some people balk. They say, oh my God, $500. That's so expensive. That's ridiculous. I don't have that kind of money to spend on my dog. Guess what? Then you shouldn't have a dog. We're going to get to that in the second part of my show. Because here's the thing. Just like human children, dogs don't pick and choose the perfect time to get sick. They get sick in the evenings. They get sick on weekends. And they get sick on holidays. And the reason that pets is so expensive is to weed out what is a true emergency. Because we all see what happens in our human hospital emergency rooms, right? People who are on welfare, who have Medicaid, who don't have to pay to go to the emergency room, they run to the emergency room when they have a headache or a tickle in their throat or a stuffy nose. Their kid has a fever that's like 99.9, they run to the emergency room. And what happens is they clog up our emergency rooms so that people who do come in with serious emergencies sit there and wait and wait and wait. Because it's first come, first serve, unless you're actually running in there with a heart attack or something. And that is why giving free emergency service, even to humans, is ridiculous, because they abuse it. The doctor yesterday, Dr. Seitz, spent, well, she didn't spend the whole time with us, but we were there for an hour and a half. And a lot of the time she spent talking to us. Because like me, I always want to know what causes something, not just here's the medicine, it'll go away. We actually delved into why Savannah is so prone to these UTIs. Because I don't want it to happen over the summer again. I don't want to have to spend a Saturday morning when my husband is there to enjoy his weekend going to the vet in Delaware. So we're trying to get this right off the bat. What causes these UTIs in this dog? That's when she suggested, and this is why it was so expensive, she suggested the urine culture. And we chose to do it on Sunday because you can't get a good culture if she's on antibiotics. So we wanted to start the antibiotics right away, of course. So she said, if you don't do the culture today, you're going to have to wait 10 days to do it again. And I thought, well, the antibiotics could mess up the culture even then. So we decided to, of course, do what the dog needed. And you know, we're not wealthy people. We're not. Whatever anybody tells you or what you think of us, we are not. This was a big setback for us, especially since we just found out that we need a new hot water heater at the trailer at the bay. And we're getting new porch windows. But guess what's more important? Yes, our precious fur baby, Savvy. We're still going to get our windows. We're still going to get our hot water heater. We're just going to have to cut back on something else, like fancy meals out or fancy food or me, you know, buying more markers because I like to color. We'll cut back somewhere else and we'll make up the money. But the money's always there. Always for our fur babies. Our last dog, Brindle, and this one. And you know, there are so many lucky pet people out there who get the healthy ones. They get dogs, they only take them to the vet once a year for their vaccines and their well visit, and they have no problems. For some reason, Jason and I, maybe because whoever doles out the pets to people know that we will take care of them, we get the sick ones. Brindle had a lot of health issues. She had things that would grow on her eyes. She had three eye surgeries in her lifetime. This dog is the UTIs, and of course she has been on antibiotics for a lot of other things, some of which she shouldn't have been on because we were not with a good vet when we first got her. But this dog has basically been on antibiotics almost on a yearly basis since the day we adopted her, when she was 10 weeks old. Almost 8 years ago now. So, of course, right then and there, when I told Dr. Seitz this, because I keep excellent records, I have every piece of paper from every vet Savannah has ever seen, and what she's been treated for and what medications she has been on, that there is a chance, just like with human children, that Savannah has developed a resistance to certain antibiotics. And that's what this urine culture is going to tell us. And it's important that we know, so that we know that when she gets an infection, she's actually getting a drug that will completely clear it, not just Band-Aid it for 4.5 months, like what happened in October. So there's where we are. And like I said, we are very blessed to have someplace like Pets, and that we actually choose to use it. Whereas some pet parents, and they actually call themselves pet owners, would not, because it's just a dog after all. We have human children we have to take care of. We can't afford to spend $500 on a dog. She doesn't seem to be in pain. Who cares? First of all, calling yourself a dog owner, to me, is tacky. Do you own your children? Are you a child owner? Or are you a parent? I like this new thing people are being called, we're fur parents. We're fur parents or four-legged parents, whatever you want to say. I don't own my dog. I own my television. I own my computer. If my computer breaks, I'll toss it and get a new one. If your child gets sick, do you go have it put to sleep or give it up because you can't afford to? I'm not paying for a broken leg. Oh, hell no, I didn't sign on for this. I wanted a healthy child. Let's give it up. Let's take it and put it down. That's what some dog and cat owners do. Oh, we have a cute, cuddly new puppy. Isn't it great? Until something goes wrong. Or the dog starts getting older. And then all of a sudden, when the medical bills start coming, the dog isn't so cute and cuddly anymore. Get rid of it. We'll just get another one. That's abhorrent. It should be illegal. I think if you give up a basically healthy dog and say that's because they need a surgery or they need some kind of health care and you don't want to provide it, I think you should be banned from owning, purchasing, or adopting another pet, because obviously you can't take care of them, and you never wanted to take care of them in the first place. You want them around when they bring you joy and happiness and are cute and cuddly. But the second they start costing you money, you want to trade them in for a better model. And that often means putting what is a curable, healthy dog with a curable illness, putting that puppy down, that dog down, for no other reason than you don't want to pay to make them better. And I think that's wrong. I think it's really wrong, especially when I see such great fur parents who have spent thousands of dollars, and these people have human children too, but they have taken good care of their dogs as well, because dogs are a part of the family. They are a responsibility. And unlike your human kids, there is no assistance. When you adopt or purchase a pet, there is no welfare, there's no food stamps. You have to pay to feed them. You have to take them to the doctor and pay for their medical treatment. And if you're not willing to do that, then just don't get a pet. It's not like it's mandatory. And yet I see people on welfare and food stamps with no jobs and 3 or 4 kids buying and adopting dogs left and right. Left and right. 3, 4 dogs in a house with no job, no income coming in except for welfare and food stamps, and they have 3 dogs. Imagine. And of course the dogs are the ones that get neglected. You're not allowed to starve your children. You get arrested for that. But how are you paying for dog food if you can't pay for human food for your children? I think adopting a pet should be as hard as adopting a child. I do. And sometimes that's annoying. But I do think that before someone is allowed to have a pet, maybe they should have a visit in their home. Is the home adequate? Do a financial study. Do a credit check. Are these people financially able to support a pet? I think it would be well worth it for the love of the dogs. You know, there are some veterinarians who have actually refused to put healthy dogs down, especially the younger ones that come in. Like, oh, the dog is sick. It's going to cost $2,000 to fix it. I don't want it. Put it down. And some vets will say, you know what? No way. I know one vet who actually took one of these dogs home with him and then found a good home for it. Because there was no reason to put this perfectly healthy dog with a small issue that could be fixed. No reason to put it down. Now, some of you would say, well, why didn't you just offer to fix it for free? Because obviously, if someone is so cold-hearted that they're willing to let an animal they brought into their home to love and take care of and enjoy is willing to let it die because it needs $1,000 of medical care, you don't want that dog with that person anyway. Do you? So that's a good vet. That's a good person. There are a lot of dogs in shelters right now who were given up simply because family got tired of them. They were too much work. They were messy. They were loud. They bark. The kids didn't play with them anymore. And they just toss them to a shelter. They don't care what happens to them. These are people who should not be getting pets. Your pet is not a refrigerator. It is not a VCR. It's not a computer. It's not a cell phone. It has a heart, lungs, all the organs that are in your body. They're the same organs that are in your dog and cat's body. And just like you get sick and your human children get sick, your dog and cat's little organs that are the same as yours, they get sick too. And you need to understand that. The cute, cuddly puppy may have digestive issues that you're not going to know about for a couple of days. And the first week you have it, you're going to realize, oops, something's wrong. Got to take it to the vet, see what's going on. We found out Savvy was grain intolerant. We have to buy her special food at Costco. It's not all that much more expensive, but it took a long time to figure it out. Some doctors said she had worms. Some doctors said it was something else. They had her on antibiotics, and she continued to have diarrhea all the time. It was frustrating. Here's this brand new puppy, and I can't get her to have a normal bowel movement. But we never once said, let's give her back, or let's put her down. We found that Dr. Lewis was back in town, my favorite vet. He had been Brindle's vet for a while, and then he left town to start a practice elsewhere, and he came back to Lancaster, and that was it for me. And the second we saw Dr. Lewis, he said, with her breed, she's grain intolerant. You're doing the right thing now. Our kindergarten teacher actually turned us on to the fact that she could be grain intolerant, where the first vets we took her to never even mentioned it. They just kept popping her with pills and charging us a hell of a lot of money. We probably spent $1,200 on Savannah the first year we had her, probably a little bit more, because we couldn't get her diet right. We couldn't get her to be completely healthy, and it was frustrating, but never once did we think of putting her down. When she was, I think, 1, she had a cyst on the back of her leg that had to come off. So there was a surgery. Wasn't fun. We had to take her. She was under anesthesia. She had the cyst removed. She had a big bandage on it, which she kept trying to eat off. It was not cool. And I'm like, my God, we've only had this dog a year, and already we're going through this. But never once did we think, let's just get rid of her. She's too much trouble. And if you see her pictures, you'll know that it'd be real hard to get rid of that face. That good heart that Savvy has, her beautiful heart, that she has never growled at anyone in anger. She's never even tried to bite anybody or snip at anybody. She's got the heart of a champion, the heart of gold. And she deserves fur parents that also have big hearts, hearts of gold when it comes to her. And on that, she won the lottery. So if you're thinking about getting a pet, especially, oh my God, Easter, everybody gets pet rabbits for their kids, and then the pet rabbits are let loose because they're a lot of work. Do some research, check your finances, and remember they are a responsibility. Pets are a joy. They bring you a lot of happiness, but they can also bring you great heartache and great financial stress. So, think before you become a fur parent. I know a lot of people don't think before they become human parents, and they regret that. But these pets are completely innocent. And many pets every year are killed simply because they are no longer convenient. Because they have become a job instead of a pleasure. Pets are not a status symbol. You don't trade it in for the newest model the second it becomes old. They are not your property. They are your family. And they deserve to be treated as such. See you all back here tomorrow. Political Paula, out.